You walk into a room, and instantly you feel the weight. You feel the eyes. You feel the judgment. You feel the invisible cameras turning in your direction. You adjust your posture. You fix your hair. You change the tone of your voice. You scan the faces around you, looking for a signal. Do they like me? Do they respect me? Am I doing this right? Without realizing it, you have just stepped onto a stage. You have stopped being a human being, and you have started being a performer. This is the hidden exhaustion of your life. From the moment you wake up to the moment you close your eyes, you are auditioning for a role. You buy clothes you don't like to impress strangers on the street. You post photos of a happiness you don't feel to get validation from people you haven't spoken to in 10 years. You swallow your true opinions because you are terrified of the silence that might follow if you speak them. We call this being polite. We call it fitting in. The Stoics would call it the prison. Welcome to the prison of approval. It is a strange prison. It has no bars. It has no guards. The doors are wide open, and yet you never leave. You stay inside, trapped by the most powerful force in human psychology, the fear of what they think. But who are they? Who is this jury that you have given the power to judge your life? Look closer at the audience. Most of them are not looking at you. They are looking at themselves. They are just as terrified, just as insecure, and just as desperate for approval as you are. We are a planet of actors, performing for an audience of other actors, all of us terrified that the mask might slip. But why? Why do we do this? Why is the opinion of a neighbor, or a coworker, or a stranger on the internet so terrifying that it can paralyze us? To understand the cure, we must first understand the disease. This is not just a bad habit. This is biology. Thousands of years ago, on the savannah, fitting in was not a social preference. It was a survival strategy. If the tribe rejected you, if they exiled you, you died. Alone in the wilderness, you could not hunt, you could not fight, you could not survive. So, your brain evolved a warning system, a social radar. Every time you felt the threat of disapproval, your brain screamed, "Danger! Fix it! Conform! Be like them!" That alarm system is still there. It is the knot in your stomach when someone critiques your work. It is the heat in your face when you make a mistake in public. It is the anxiety that keeps you awake at night, replaying a conversation from 3 years ago. But here is the truth that your biology doesn't know. You are not on the savannah anymore. If someone dislikes you today, you will not die. If you are weird, you will not starve. If you speak your truth and people turn away, the predators will not eat you. The alarm is a lie. It is a ghost from the past, haunting a modern world where it no longer belongs. And by listening to it, you are trading your life for safety. You are trading your authenticity for applause. But the applause is cheap, and the cost is your soul. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, knew this trap better than anyone. He was the most famous man in the world. Every move he made was watched by millions. He had senators plotting against him, generals judging him, and citizens gossiping about him. If anyone had a reason to care about public opinion, it was him. And yet, in his private journals, he wrote a sentence that cuts through the noise like a razor blade. He asked himself, "I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinion of himself than on the opinion of others." Think about the absurdity of that. You love yourself. You are the main character of your existence, and yet you would sacrifice your own peace, your own values, and your own desires just to avoid a momentary frown on the face of someone you don't even respect. You let their opinion dictate your reality. If they say you are a failure, You believe you are a failure. If they say you are successful, you feel successful. You have handed them the remote control to your self-worth, and as long as they hold that remote, you are a slave. A rich slave, a famous slave, a well-liked slave, but a slave nonetheless. Is this how you want to spend the rest of your life? Walking on eggshells? Editing your personality? Shrinking yourself to fit into the small boxes that other people have built for you? Or are you ready to be free? Freedom is not comfortable. Freedom is cold. Freedom is lonely. Freedom requires you to develop a thick skin. It requires you to learn an ancient art, the art of indifference. This is not about being cold-hearted. It is not about being a sociopath who doesn't care about anyone. It is about being a sovereign. It is about deciding once and for all whose voice matters. The path out of the prison begins with a realization that is both terrifying and liberating. The realization is this: nobody is thinking about you. Nobody is thinking about you. I know that sounds harsh. I know your ego wants to reject it, but it is the most liberating truth you will ever hear. Psychologists call this the spotlight effect. Because you live inside your own head, you naturally assume that you are the center of the universe. You walk down the street, and you feel like a protagonist in a movie. You think every passerby is a camera, zooming in on your flaws, your clothes, your walk. But here is the reality. You are the main character in your movie. But in everyone else's movie, you are just an extra in the background. You are a blur. You are noise. They are not thinking about your awkward handshake. They are thinking about their debt. They are not analyzing your career choice. They are worrying about their marriage. They are not judging your appearance. They are wondering if they look okay. You are drowning in anxiety about what they think of you, while they are drowning in anxiety about what you think of them. We are all standing in a circle, looking inward, paralyzed by the imaginary judgment of people who are too busy judging themselves to notice us. It is a comedy of errors, but we turn it into a tragedy. But let's play the devil's advocate. Let's say they are judging you. Let's say they are talking about you. Let's say they disapprove. The Stoic asks a simple question. So what? Who are these people? Why is their validation the currency you are trading your life for? Marcus Aurelius had a brutal exercise for this. He said, "Enter into their minds, and you will see what judges you are afraid of, and how capable they are of judging themselves." Look at the people whose approval you crave. Look at them objectively. Are they wise? Are they perfectly happy? Do they have it all figured out? Or are they just as confused, flawed, and fickle as anyone else? They change their minds every 10 minutes. They love a trend today and hate it tomorrow. They praise a celebrity on Monday and cancel them on Tuesday. Their opinions are not facts. Their opinions are just the weather. Chaotic, random, meaningless. Why would you build your house on such unstable ground? Why would you let your self-worth depend on the mood swings of a confused crowd? To seek the applause of the ignorant is to ask to be praised by a madman. It is irrational. If you respect yourself, you cannot respect the random noise of the herd. You have to choose. Do you want to be admired by them, or do you want to be respected by yourself? You cannot have both. This brings us to the core of the Stoic defense, the concept of reputation. We treat reputation as if it belongs to us. We protect it, we polish it, we fight for it. But Epictetus taught us the hard truth. Reputation is not yours. Your character? That is yours. Your actions? Those are yours. But your reputation? That is merely what other people think about your actions. It exists in their heads, not yours. It is an external. It is outside your control. You can be the most virtuous person in the world, and people can still hate you. You can be a saint, and they will crucify you. Look at history. Look at Socrates. Look at Jesus. Look at the greats. They were mocked. They were hated. They were misunderstood. Did it stop them? No, because they understood the difference between the echo and the voice. Public opinion is just an echo. It is a distorted reflection of reality. The Stoic focuses on the voice, their own internal compass. When you know who you are, the echo doesn't matter. When you know your values, the applause is just noise, and the booing is just noise. This is the beginning of indifference. Now, be careful. Modern society confuses indifference with apathy. They think indifference means being a cold, emotionless statue who sits in a basement and hates the world. That is not Stoicism. That is cowardice. Stoic indifference is active. It is fierce. It is a warrior's stance. It doesn't mean you don't care about anything. It means you care so much about the few things that matter, your purpose, your family, your integrity, that you have no energy left to care about the things that don't. It is an economy of energy. You have a limited amount of fucks to give in this lifetime. Every time you give one to a stranger's comment, you are stealing it from your own dreams. You need to put on the armor. You need to become anti-fragile to praise and blame. Most people are fragile. If you praise them, they fly high. If you criticize them, they shatter. They are puppets, and society pulls the strings. The Stoic cuts the strings. If they praise you, good. If they blame you, good. You remain the same. You are like a rock in the ocean. The waves crash over it, foam and roar, but the rock stands still. Eventually, the waves get tired. The rock does not. But how do we build this rock? How do we actually stop caring in a world designed to make us care? How do we walk into a room and feel nothing but our own presence? It requires a shift in perspective, a shift that changes you from the hunted to the hunter. So, how do we break the final chain? How do we silence the noise permanently? We must zoom out, way out. We must look at human opinion through the lens of eternity. Marcus Aurelius, when he felt the pressure of fame or the sting of gossip, would do a mental exercise. He would imagine the great emperors of the past, Augustus, Hadrian, Vespasian, men whose names once made the ground shake, men who were worshipped as gods, men who had millions of critics and millions of fans. And he asked, where are they now? Nowhere. They are dust. They are bones. They are names in books that nobody reads. And the people who judged them? The crowds who cheered or booed? Also dust. Also forgotten. This is the ultimate perspective. Memento Mori. Remember that you will die. But also, remember that they will die. Why are you afraid of the opinions of walking corpses? The person whose judgment you fear today, in 50 years, they will be gone. Their brain, which holds the opinion, will be dirt. The mouth that speaks the gossip will be silent. Everything that worries you is temporary. It is a vapor. To let a temporary opinion control your permanent soul is madness. It is like being afraid of a cloud that is already dissolving. When you truly accept that everyone is dying, you realize that there is no time for the performance. There is no time to wear the mask. There is only time to be real. If today was your last day on Earth, would you care if your shirt was trendy? Would you care if your coworker thinks you are weird? Would you care if you got enough likes? No. You would do what you love. You would say what you mean. You would be exactly who you are. So why wait for the last day? Why not live like that now? This brings us to the final test, the price of freedom. You want to stop caring? You want to be free? Then you must be willing to pay the tax. And the tax is this: you must be willing to be disliked. You cannot be authentic and be universally liked at the same time. It is impossible. The moment you speak your truth, you will offend those who live a lie. The moment you pursue your dreams, you will irritate those who gave up on theirs. Your freedom will make them uncomfortable. Your strength will highlight their weakness, and they will attack you. They will judge you. They will call you names. Let them. In fact, take it as a compliment. If nobody hates you, you are doing nothing. If nobody is judging you, you are not standing for anything. Disapproval is not a sign of failure. It is often a sign of success. It is the evidence that you have left the herd. You have to be willing to be the villain in their story so you can be the hero in yours. Stop trying to explain yourself. Stop trying to prove them wrong. Stop trying to win them over. You do not need their permission to exist. Imagine a mountain. Does the mountain care if the wind screams at it? Does the mountain apologize for being too tall? Does the mountain shrink because the clouds don't like its shape? No. It stands. It exists. It occupies its space without apology. Be the mountain. When you walk into a room, do not ask, "Do they like me?" Ask, "Do I like me?" When you do your work, do not ask, "Will they applaud?" Ask, "Is this true to my nature?" This is the shift from the external to the internal. This is the birth of the inner citadel. Inside your fortress, you are the king. You are the queen. The opinions of the world are just heavy rain falling on the roof. You can hear them, but they cannot touch you. You are dry. You are safe. You are warm. The doors of the prison are open. They have always been open. The guards were just phantoms in your mind. The audience was just a hallucination. Step out of the cage. Take off the mask. Take a deep breath of the cold, fresh air of reality. People will look. Let them look. People will talk. Let them talk. Their noise is their problem. Your life is your business. Walk your path. Not for them, not for the applause, not for the reputation, but for you. Because the time is short, and you have a life to live. This is core wisdom. If you are ready to leave the prison, subscribe. The journey is long, but the freedom is worth it. See you on the other side.